Jim?
Hey, beautiful. I'd love to say that I'm getting used to it, that the cold is growing on me, but it ain't.
Nevik believes this can solve the energy crisis on Earth?
I believe it can.
There's something the old man's not telling us.
Believe me, James, this place has secrets.
What the? What are you doing?
Boss, we have a saboteur in the base.
They told me we were the only ones on this planet.
Hello, everyone. That was the brand new trailer for Lost Planet 3 that we've just revealed here for the first time today. Hope you enjoyed it. My name is Andrew Szymanski. I am the producer for Lost Planet 3 at Capcom Japan, and this is my colleague, Kenji Oguro, who's our franchise creative director. He's going to be playing our demo for you today. Before we jump into the demo, I just wanted to give a very brief recap of what Lost Planet 3 is. Of course, it's the third game in the franchise, but it's actually the first chronologically. We're going back in time to when EDN 3, the planet where the game takes place, was at its most cold, foreboding, beautiful, but very deadly state. And we follow our main character, Jim, who we saw in the trailer, and we're going to see here in the demo, of course. And he has come to EDN 3 to take contracts, dangerous contracts, building the colony and exploring in order to send money back to his wife and child who he's left on Earth. And as we've seen from the trailer here, Earth is in trouble, and so it's very important that he takes those contracts. So we're going to be joining up with Jim here about a third of the way through the game. He's already sort of established himself on the planet. He's getting used to living there and taking the contracts. In fact, we'll start with a cinematic that sort of establishes how he's been able to build a life there. And then a radio call comes in and he gets sent on one of his most dangerous missions yet. So, Oguro-san?
And so it went. For weeks, then months, until the extraordinary became commonplace. Dealing with the cold and the wildlife became a new routine. Intense and surreal, but routine. I kept my sanity and wits by not thinking too deeply about what I was seeing and doing. I got lonesome sometimes out in the Badlands, but music and weekly messages from the missus kept me company. I was making great dough, getting choice contracts, and that was the point after all. I made friends with the crew. They were a right good sort, those guys. Even LaRoche, for all his bluster, had his moments. For better or worse, I became Braddock's go-to guy. It had its benefits. But sometimes being the one to get the call meant you ended up in some damn strange situations.
Damn strange situations indeed. We're going to see one of them here.
You there? We just lost contact with the communications relay at Shackleton's Peak. The dish was built on the highest summit in the area so that we could call home to Mama with minimal storm interference. It's our lifeline. 2 hours ago it went offline and we don't know why. We're effectively cut off from sending or receiving any off-world communications. I need you to check it out. Boilerplate contract, flat rate for equipment repair, standard fuel surcharge, and Tier 3 hazard bonus.
So Jim's been given his mission, which is to repair the communications relay at the top of the mountain. But to get there, he's going to have to get through the nest of one of our new enemy types that we're showing for the first time here today. This is an enemy called the Fire Wasp. It's, of course, a flying enemy. and it likes to flank you. And this is a great opportunity to use our cover system, which we're also showing here for the first time. It's something new to the franchise, but it's something we really like in cases such as this, when you're having to deal with enemies both at short range and at long range. Now Oguro-san has taken out the spawner here that's allowed him to enter the next area. We're going to be going right into the heart of the nest, and it's the only way to get to the top of the mountain where our mission objective is. This is an example of our struggle mode. Many of you may be familiar. All of our smaller A-grid enemies have the struggle mode, and it is a way for us to kind of have some close quarters combat without turning everything into a QTE, because you do have to aim in order to hit the areas on the enemy that you're aiming for. So certain enemies will do this to you when you're low on health, and it's one of the ways that we keep the gameplay fresh. Success or failure here will change, of course, how much trouble Jim gets in. A couple of well-placed kicks are usually enough to do the job. There we go. Once again, Oguro-san here is going to be using our cover to help take out some of these wasps, as well as the wasp spawners. And of course, without taking out those spawners, the wasps will keep showing up. Switching the shotgun there for some close range firepower, that's always helpful. Very nice. Once again, utilizing the cover. Now you can blind fire from cover as well as being able to actually zoom out from cover like this. Once again, very handy. We like this area of the hive because it shows how we've tried to integrate sort of the natural ecosystem of the world and show the acrid in their actual habitat as opposed to just showing them as enemies of the player. Grabbing some thermal energy, which can be traded for weapon upgrades and additional items and things like that when you're back at base. And we can see here a panning shot of the mountain in its entirety. In the full game, you would start at the bottom of the mountain and work your way up. We're going to sort of do a fade warp here so we can take you all the way to the top and show you some of the cool stuff up there and keep our demo reasonable. Now we've gotten here to the top of the mountain, and once again, Jim's mission is to repair this satellite transmitter so that the colony can regain communications with Earth. But we noticed an odd reason for the malfunction.
What the hell?
This mysterious figure was also in the trailer. This part of the game and the narrative represents sort of Jim trying to focus on his contracts, but learning that there's a larger sort of mystery surrounding the planet and surrounding him. He's trying not to get involved, but of course, that won't last.
Cronus Actual, this is Peyton. Listen, I don't know how else to say this, but I think we might have a saboteur on the bay.
Saboteur? Jim, no offense. You're not supposed to go stir-crazy until you've been here at least a year.
I'm serious, boss. Somebody was out here.
All right, Jim, I believe you. First things first. Head into the relay station, raise the satellite dish, and call up the tram.
So we heard Jim communicating with Braddock, who's his foreman back on the base. Braddock, of course, is telling him there couldn't possibly be anybody else. Everyone's accounted for. And this is just an example of, you know, small, subtle hints to Jim that things might not be what they seem.
System malfunction.
I don't know why I'm surprised.
Coming back out here to enable this comm dish here. So we can see the smaller comm dish. That's actually just the transmitting portion of the array.
ready for transmission.
That's the actual array. Has to be that big to get signals all the way back to Earth. Now, one of the other things that you'll see in the full game during this part is that we've actually been repairing this gondola system throughout the entire level. Now, what this does is it actually attaches to the utility rig. Many of you may recall the utility rig is the vehicle that Jim uses throughout the game. So what he's done now is he's actually called that up from the bottom.
Got the satellite dish working, just waiting for the rig to come up.
Somebody's not too happy about being disturbed here in his lair. This is the Spitter, which is, once again, a brand new enemy type we're showing for the first time. This is a Cat L acrid, so it's one of our larger acrid. And as its name would indicate, it spits at you. That will debilitate Jim, prevent him from moving. So you have to avoid those emissions. He also uses his scorpion-like tail to stab at you. It's painful. As with all acrid, you were aiming for the glowing spot, the core, to do the damage. So Oguro-san here will be trying to get a good shot as he's avoiding the attacks. So I guess he's retreating back to lick his wounds a little bit, which is great because our rig is just now about to arrive. So we'll finally have something to take him on with something of his own size. This is the rig, of course, and this is a great way, once again, to showcase the dichotomy between the exterior segments when you're out on foot and you have the normal third-person shooting versus being in the rig and, of course, being in first person and really feeling the scale of this giant machine.
Now that you've got the rig, use the claw arm to align the relay tower and re-establish contact between the comm dish and Coronas.
That is the winch, something we're once again showing the first time today. This is an upgrade attachment for the utility rig that you will get over the course of the game. And it, of course, can be used to squash smaller enemies, reel in larger enemies. And another great thing is it actually, as we saw in the trailer, has an environmental function as well. When it's attached to certain parts of the environment, Jinda can use it as a zip line to access new areas. So
Fair fight this time, pal.
everything on the utility rig has multiple functions, both in combat and outside of combat. So now we have a chance to take on this thing on its own terms. A couple of well-placed bashes. Grab the tail. Go for that weak point with the drill. You're using the utility rig's tools, the construction tools, in order to do damage to the enemy. Nice parry move. Ah, very satisfying. Now, another well-placed bash will put us in a good position to finish off the enemy. Very nice. Grab and stab. And that is a very satisfying way to take out your foe. Now we've come here to the point where this is what we needed the rig for, of course, is in order to align this dish properly. You're going to grab with the left stick.
And Dr. Roman. She hasn't checked in for some time, and if there's any funny business afoot out there, I'd like to make sure she's all right. Do me a favor and check in on her before you head back.
So once again, we're getting hints that a lot of things are going on, and As we move forward in the campaign, we'll be talking a lot more about who the mysterious other people on the planet are and what they have to do with Jim and his journey. But for now, that was our new demo. Hope you enjoyed it. Lost Planet 3 is going to be coming out in early 2013 for Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. Just want to thank Oguro-san again for the great demo. And thank you to everyone for coming.